Part of my approach here and doing the hard thing about hard things, other than just doing those hard things, it involves just critically identifying and obsessively understanding what are those bottlenecks that are holding back growth. Because again, a business will grow to the limits of its bottlenecks. Welcome to day 2. The title of today's video is The Hard Thing About Hard Things. If you don't know who I am, my name is Matt Ackerson. I'm the founder of Robo.com. In 2021, we hit 1.2 million in revenue. And the point of this video series is to keep me accountable and on the path as we build the company back up to 1.2 million and far beyond to our goal of 1 million in profit per month. And my hope is that these videos and sharing the journey in its raw and relatable form will give you a real playbook that you can apply to your own business and just serve as hopefully inspiration, as well as just give you insights and maybe some entertainment along the way too. So I think I'm gonna not, when I wake up in the morning, just not immediately check my phone. I think I'm going to go and do my routine, which now includes writing down, and planning out these videos instead of just going and checking messages, because you can just get sucked into conversations and other priorities. And communication, I find, it's kind of different as the leader of the organization. If decisions are bottlenecking at you, that's obviously not good, but it's easy to get sucked into different contexts, which then can delay you actually getting to the work that maybe is highest priority. In this case, making these videos and really activating, just turning on like a Christmas tree, all of our social media, that is my number one priority right now, because it's going to lead to just massive quick growth in terms of lead generation, because we have the team, we have the offer, we have the operations, we have a great business, and things have just been neglected, and I've let it get to this point. But again, these videos, this is me taking accountability for that. But one thing that happened was I woke up, okay, great, we've got a new client on our largest package. Awesome. They're super excited to be onboarded. We rolled out with the model that we have today in 2020. But originally back in 2010, when the company started, we were an agency. So when I say 15 years, we didn't always have our current business model, which is an on-demand marketing fulfillment team for a fraction of the cost of hiring your own team. Anyway, woke up today, and in the context that we have serviced thousands of clients, and we have hundreds of 5-star reviews, thousands and thousands of transactions, and a very, very, very small percentage of those resulted in credit card disputes, the vast majority of which, 70 to 80%, we would always win. And if you've been in business for more than 5 minutes, you know that there is such thing as just clients who are not a right fit. And then below that, there are clients who can just be a little bit of a nightmare, right? So unfortunately, it looks like we're approaching, nightmare territory, you would say, because we got our largest payment dispute or chargeback I saw first thing when I woke up this morning. So that was a little bit of a slap in the face. It's all right, damn it, gotta go deal with this. But for context, this was also a client. It's just one of those situations where as a founder, if you're like me at all, I really believe in fairness and justice. That's not a political statement in any way, but justice just in the sense of, fairness. And this had been a client who we've been servicing for months, and the client, just because they're having their own financial issues, they wanted to treat, us like a piggy bank and try to get us to do free work, which they're trying to just basically claw back everything that they've paid and that they had committed to in this multi-month period that they had prepaid for and gotten a discount for. And we had, been working very hard and being probably too flexible in servicing their account. This makes me think, though, even though I'm confident that we will, the truth is on our side, we'll probably win the dispute and get those funds back. But the bigger picture is, just the psychology of it, and also thinking about well, how do I do differently? How do I take ownership, and how can the company take ownership, not for this client's unreasonable and just completely unjust to the point of theft of services. We can't take responsibility for someone else's actions that are outside of our control as a company. But what I can think about is what isn't within our control. And I think for the future, I think we will just make fewer accommodations, because I think it just starts scope creep in terms of our productized service. I think it can start, and I think it can sort of invite clients who are very, very rare but unreasonable to start having these incrementally unreasonable expectations. What I've told our team in the past is like, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to ask you for a glass of milk, right? And service businesses are kind of special. And if you run a service business, you know what I'm talking about. There's a human element to it. So you really have to use good judgment. But ultimately, where you want to go as a service business, if you want to scale, you have to productize, you have to systemize. And that is what we have done very successfully. So I think that allowing for less scope creep is going to be one of the actions that we're going to take. Also, for larger prepayments, we're going to default to not taking credit cards. Most likely, we'll probably just do check or ACH payments. I think that will lower the probability of a fake chargeback like this. That will kind of lower the risk. So much of business is really just de-risking. And I think we'll have maybe even a green light checklist before we take on these larger, higher ticket orders. Because especially if it's a smaller business, putting out 5, 10, 20, 25K in terms of price point, we want to know, okay, is this business a startup? Are they stable and a clear fit? Scope and expectations, have they been locked down? Have we set them clearly? Look, you're prepaying an exchange, you are getting a discount compared to if you were paying month to month, or there are these other benefits. And beyond the initial, because we have for a service, we are still told that we have a very generous 100% satisfaction guarantee. So we allow our clients to try our service for 2 weeks completely risk-free. And if they're not just loving it, they can cancel and get a refund. But that's almost always not the case. Our clients are with us for many, many months and years, and we're really proud of that. So, and in addition to, for situations like this to avoid them in the future, I'm thinking, have we worked together with the client in the past for more than 30 days? So highly confident that those changes, whether you put them into place in your business for a similar situation, because we've seen that when we've implemented 1 or 2 of those, it just lowers the probability. Expectation setting in the past has always helped to lower churn rate, as well as retain clients, because their expectations are better set in terms of what it is, what it isn't, what's included in terms of what they're buying and what maybe isn't. What are the turnaround times? What's the definition of a task? What's the definition of a project? So that way, everyone is on the same page. There's no unrealistic expectation that, hey, you're going to build me a high converting website with 5 landing pages and ads in 1 day. Usually it doesn't work that way. And if we did do something like that, it takes time to make, the design look something that's of high quality. I mean, you can use templates and whatnot. We generally try to, again, adhere to whatever the timeline is that the client gives us. I think the fastest turnaround times of any company in our space, certainly far, far faster than than any agency that I'm aware of. So having a strong sense of justice and dealing with something that's blatantly unreasonable, because it's easy to have your emotions as an entrepreneur just kind of get activated, but you don't want to run a company that way. You want to rely on systems, and especially when faced like a situation like this, it calls upon you to have grit in that situation. True Grit, just a really underrated movie, by the way. I think that movie came out in 2009, 2010. True grit you want to have when you're feeling that, as I felt that today, you want to repurpose it into fuel, okay? You want to take that emotion and whatever the perceived injustice is or the wrongness of the situation and say, okay, how is this situation actually a gift? How am I actually lucky to be going through this right now? Well, in our case, it's an opportunity for us to just be better as a company. And I'm even more motivated now to make these videos and for us to just grow way, way, way faster. We're gonna make 10 times more sales to replace this one sale at the moment going in the wrong direction. And I'm sure that we'll win on the dispute. And that's the mindset you want to have. Stay the course. We're going to improve the machine, convert negative energy into positive momentum. And again, the hard thing about hard things is doing the hard things, of choosing to post videos like this daily. It's uncomfortable. It's a challenge to make them as valuable and as raw and as vulnerable and honest as possible, so that it's actually of value and substance to you guys, because there's so much shit out there and there's so much oh, you gotta grind, baby, grind. And if I had to choose, 2 words that are gonna describe probably the journey that I've been on and I'm going on, It's focus and sustainability. Sustainability in the sense of, can you do it consistently and not burn yourself out? Because you have to strike a balance. It's like just, I don't know, grind baby grind, work baby work. Maybe there's a time and place for that at times when maybe you're in your survival mode as a startup perhaps. But even then, it's like, do you really want to do this work? Are you going to enjoy doing this work, a year, 3 years, 5 years from now? And if you hate your work, why are you doing it? There's so much opportunity out there to do so many different things. Why settle for doing work that you don't enjoy and maybe even hate? So quality, moving towards discomfort, doing what is uncomfortable, doing it consistently. And honestly, you want to do what others in terms of your competition may be avoiding doing. And the results of doing that is just going to have a compounding effect. But I specifically want to tell you that, think about it like this. If it's difficult for you, it's difficult for others. When I relaunched this business model, because we kind of like evolved it over time. When we relaunched it in 2019, and then we iterated on it in 2020, and basically it became what it is today. I was thinking about, okay, well, we have to hire a full team. We're going to build our own software layer on top of that for project management and just coordination of all the talent and getting all the tasks done. And we want full transparency, progress bars for clients. That's gonna be really fucking hard because that's pulling on so many different skill stacks in terms of people, in terms of operations, in terms of tech, in terms of like then melding it all together, and then in terms of marketing, in terms of packaging, in terms of going to the market, in terms of selling. It's a lot. Believe me, it's a lot. And that's part of why we grew so fast from 2020 into 2021, 936%, just in terms of getting our message out there. And that's a big part of what doing social media and putting up ads again at the start of this overall campaign has been all about. Just getting that visibility because, our offering is so valuable. Anyway, that aside, I don't want this to be a commercial, but I do mean that sincerely in terms of like, the harder it is for you, not that you want to aim to make it hard, but it just means that there's less competition at that level in terms of like doing the things that are hard and that are also going to work. So it's kind of like a funnel, right? The further down in the discomfort funnel that you go in terms of like doing things that are hard but that also work, the less competition that you actually will have, especially over time. Because the market, and in terms of media too, in terms of social media and organic, it's generally going to be fair over time. And also, we're doing other things that are hard that are just gonna take time to show fruit. And it's really hard right now because we're building our own, it's called Robo Creator. It's our own AI creation acceleration platform for like automating operations as well as creative work. It's gonna meld into our current offering, but it's a hard thing and it's gonna remove a lot of the bottlenecks once it's up and running. But until it actually gets to that point, it's a challenge to actually go through. I'll talk more about that. I'll give you a demo in a future video. So if that's of interest to you, definitely like and subscribe as always. The other thing about hard things, the hard thing about hard things is just, and this is gonna be my overall approach, which I'll talk more about in future videos. I gotta wrap up now because I got a call to get onto and I'm already late. And I think I might put up that video on our YouTube channel here. But a business will grow to the limit of its bottlenecks, okay? And part of my approach here and doing the hard thing about hard things, other than just doing those hard things, it involves just critically identifying and obsessively understanding what are those bottlenecks that are holding back growth. Because again, a business will grow to the limits of its bottlenecks. So if you are the biggest limiting bottleneck, it's going to grow to as many clients or customers as you can handle in terms of your time. Otherwise, up to that point, you're just gonna get cancellations and/or potentially the whole thing could just start to go sideways because everyone else maybe gets lower and lower quality service or whatever it might be. So you don't want to get to that point. How do you open up that bottleneck in terms of throughput, both in terms of getting leads, customers in the door, onboarded, but also like the structure of the offering. So are you limited by time of your team or by the tech or a combination of both? So we'll talk more about that in an upcoming video. But basically part of how we're going to uncap growth is more channels. We're going to be turning these videos into reels on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'll be looking at partnerships as well and just really keep eyeballs flowing. And in terms of, again, just sharing the journey, sharing all the lessons that we're learning as we go forward here and trying to keep it raw and honest. So give me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you if you like this format. stronger funnel, faster delivery, cleaner payments, as I mentioned, ACH, especially for those high ticket prepays, and just getting closer to clients. I'm planning on, at least for a short period of time, I'm going to be offering coaching as an added benefit on our high-level packages, just like a weekly coaching call where one or more clients can join on a call and we can talk out problems, anything they want to talk about, but primarily in terms of marketing. Yeah, this can allow me to give more value to our clients, but also for me to get closer to them, to understand them and their businesses and their challenges, which I think will also flow back into these videos for your benefit and the benefit of other people who are watching. So anyway, today's dispute, as I shared with you, it's noise. When things like that happen unexpectedly, you need to see it as noise. And our response is grit, focus on the system. It's part of the overall game. It just takes process and persistence and making your product better. That is where the signal is and not the noise. And, overwhelming success, it's the best form of justice in the end and fairness to yourself. Because if you believe in your product, if you believe in your company and yourself as you should, if you believe that you're adding value into the world, and believe in yourself, believe in what you're offering, and go for overwhelming success. Just keep moving forward. And if you're new here, I encourage you to check out our company, Grobo.com, because if you're a business or an agency, Grobo can actually help you remove a lot of the bottlenecks to the growth of your business, because we offer a fully white labeled, on-demand marketing fulfillment team with 13 skills like copywriting, design, development, ads management, video production and design, project management, and many others, all in one roof, under one roof, instant team, no need to go out and hire on your own or manage freelancers and piece it together anymore. This is the solution that I wish I had when we had originally started early on in business as an agency. And it's just unlocked so much freedom for our clients, and just lower stress levels is what we hear in our testimonials, and more time to focus on growing their business because they have the team to help them to execute 10, 20 times more in terms of just productive marketing output than they otherwise would have. So it's an amazing value for a fraction of the cost of hiring your own freelancers. Check it out at Grobo.com if that's of interest to you. Keep Groboing, stay focused. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.